So today I'll be talking about what coaches actually look for in players. So obviously this can be for players who, let's say your coach isn't really giving you game time and you're coming off the bench a lot, but you really want to start. This is for players. This is for players like that who want to know, okay, cool, what can I actually do to get on my coach's good side so I can get more minutes, more game time, so I can actually show him what I'm about, so I can actually show him that I deserve to start. And also for the players who are trying to get interest from academies, or literally just get interest from higher level teams, what coaches are looking for. So yeah, this video is literally about what sort of attributes are coaches looking for. And the first one is making the right mistakes. Now, we all know in football mistakes are going to happen. So if you make a mistake, it is what it is. Like, they're going to happen. You can't, no one can have a perfect game. No one's going to not make a mistake in a game. So eventually you're gonna give the ball away, you're gonna miss a shot, you're gonna get dispossessed. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna be out of position for a particular play. Like, you can't be no one can be perfect. So obviously mistakes happen, but in my opinion, what coaches are looking for is people who make the right mistakes. So let me talk about the wrong mistakes. The wrong mistakes is literally when you have 2 or 3 teammates open. Literally, you can play that easy pass, which will help your team progress the ball forward, but then you decide to try to take on your man and then you lose the ball. In my opinion, that's a bad mistake because it was so obvious that you could have just played it simple, played the simple pass. Two or three teammates were available, and you didn't play the simple pass. You lost the ball in a dangerous area, and now all your teammates are having to track back and defend your goal. When if you would have played that pass, maybe your team could have went on an attack, had a shot, maybe even scored. So in my opinion, that's a bad mistake. Another bad mistake, maybe you're at the back, you're taking too many touches. You're trying to, once again, at the back, you're trying to take on your man. You're taking too many touches in your own half. Maybe you're a centre back and you play a cross goal. Literally, playing a cross goal as a centre back, that's literally stuff we get taught in like under 7s, under 8. So if you're still doing that at like 14, 15, obviously the coach is going to look at you and be like, yo, what is this guy doing? Like, that's football fundamentals, literally just basic. Never play square across goal, especially in your own box. So literally, those are bad mistakes. But then obviously the right mistakes, the good mistakes that the coaches are looking for is like, all right, cool, he made a mistake, but it was the right decision. You want to make mistakes where the coach can look at it and be like, all right, cool, he made a mistake, but I can see what he was doing. I can see what he was trying. And if that actually came off, that would have been a great decision. That would have actually helped his team. So, for example, let's say you're a number 10, you get the ball between the lines and you try to play a through ball into your winger, and maybe you overhit the pass slightly or you underhit the pass slightly. Obviously, next time you want to execute better, but the coach will still be like, all right, cool. So I see what he was doing there. He was being positive. He chose to take a risk and play forwards. He didn't decide to play sideways, but it's just the execution that's lacking. And literally little things like that. Or maybe you're a winger and you're in a good position, a dangerous position, and instead of sort of just turning back and playing back to your fullback, you actually decide to be positive and take on your man. Maybe you lose out on that 1v1 duel, maybe you even get past him, but you overhit the cross, or you put the shot wide. Hey, the coach will look at it and be like, all right, cool. It didn't come off for him, but he was being positive in the right areas. He was being positive in the areas where he needs to be positive. And so in my opinion, these are sort of the quote unquote right mistakes to do. You don't want to be making those mistakes where the coach is just looking at you and be like, what the hell was he doing there? Like, you don't want the mistakes. You want to try and make the right plays, but maybe the pass wasn't executed properly or the shot wasn't executed properly. You understand? So yeah, that's the first point. Literally, just making the right mistakes. So the next things coaches are looking for is for you to be coachable. Now, being coachable is literally about taking on the coach's advice and then correcting any mistakes that you make when he shows you what to do. If he's showing you to do something a different way and then you get into that same exact situation, he needs to see that, okay, cool, this player's taken on my advice, and then obviously we've had a positive outcome instead of a negative outcome. It's literally about not repeating the same mistakes when you're in that same situation. Now, that, in my opinion, that's the worst. That's probably the most frustrating thing as a teammate, when somebody's in the exact same positions, and every single time they make the same mistake. They never learn from their mistakes. Let's say you have a winger who he dribbles past 2 or 3 guys, and then he decides to take a shot when there's 2 or 3 people in the middle, and he could have just squared it so easily to them, and everyone's now getting on to him. Everyone's saying, yo, why did you not pass the ball? and then he's like, cool, I'll do better next time. The next time he gets into that same position, he's gone past his fullback, 2 or 3 guys in the middle who have an open tap in, but then he decides to shoot and he misses at the near post. See, that's the sort of things that coaches they don't want to see. That's the sort of thing where it's like, okay, cool, this player's not coachable. We've told him what to do in this position already, but he keeps making that exact same mistake. And obviously, your teammates are just going to be livid with you, because that's literally the definition of stupidity, in my opinion. When you're put in the same situation, when you're put in a situation that had a negative outcome, then when you get put in that exact same situation, you do the exact same thing and get that same negative outcome instead of changing it up, doing something different to get that positive outcome. So that's literally the main principle of being coachable. I remember I used to play with a defender. He would always play across goal every single time. The coach would say, yo, never play across your goal. He'd always try play across goal, whether it was to the fullback or to the centre back, and he'll be like, yo, never. The coach would always tell him, never play across goal, never play across goal. But every single time he was in that same situation, it was the same exact mistake. He'd play across goal, maybe the pass will get intercepted, or he just put someone under pressure, and then someone's forced to, clear the ball out instead of us keeping possession, or someone loses the ball or has to foul their player and take a yellow card. It's just literally just little things like that. Literally, if you make a mistake and you get into that same exact position, show that you're coachable. And your coach has told you, yo, do in that position, do this next time. Literally, take his advice and show that, yo, I can take on instructions. I can actually learn from my mistakes and be better. As well as this, you need to show that you have a willingness to learn, especially if you're like a young player going into the first team, or you're simply just maybe not even the first team, maybe like you're an under 13 who's now playing with like the under 16s, or training with the under 16s because they feel like you're good enough to play at that level. Once you go in there, you need to show a willingness to learn. Look what other players are doing, and then take on advice that not only the coaches are telling you, but even the players are telling you. Because if you go in there and then someone tries to correct what you're doing, and then you're there rolling your eyes, not really taking the advice, or even getting angry when people are trying to help you, the coach is going to look at you and be like, nah, I don't want this guy. This guy's going to make my job difficult. Because the coach's job is literally to develop you as a player. And if you're not going to let him develop you as a player, if you're not going to let him teach you stuff, then he's just going to be put off by you. He's going to be like, yo, who does this guy think he is? And then he's just going to dust you to the side, then probably give one of your teammates or one of the people in your age group a chance to show their worth. And then if that guy shows that he's coachable, then obviously there's no way back for you from there. So this could even be, let's say you're 17 and you're playing for your first team. You're playing with guys who are 25, 26, maybe even 30. Even if you feel like, all right, cool, you're more talented than a certain older guy on the team, or even if you're getting advice from maybe the guy on the team who never really gets a game, who's always sitting on the bench, and you're thinking, oh, this guy never plays though. Like, why is he trying to tell me this? Why is he trying to tell me that? Like, he just needs to shut up. Like, at the end of the day, cool, he's not playing, but there's a reason why he's there. There's a reason why he's probably been there for a long time. He's been there for a lot longer than you. He's seen a lot more. He's seen a lot more, game scenarios, a lot more situations. Even if he's not playing, he's been around the block, in it. Like, he just has that experience. He just has that know-how. And you find that a lot when you move to the first team, where a lot of the times young players will come in and technically they're more talented than them. Like, they're more talented in terms of their touch, their dribbling, their shooting. Just in football in general, they just have more talent. But the reason why the older players are always the ones starting and the young players have to come off the bench, it's just that nuance of the game. It's just that they know what to do in certain scenarios. They've seen what happens in this situation. They've made the older players as well. They've made the mistakes and they can correct them. The young players are just coming in. They haven't made any mistakes, so they haven't really had anything to learn from, anything to base their judgment off. Whereas the older players, they know what it's about. They know that, okay, cool, today it's a rainy game. You know what I'm saying? The pitch is bad. Don't try to play football in silly areas. Once you get hook it line. Whereas a young player who's playing centre mid might decide to take 2 or 3 touches, get caught on the ball, and then the other team goes on and scores. That's the type of nuance. Even though the youngster could be better than the older guy, it's just the little nuances of the game that, through experience, the older guys just have over the younger guys. So, in my opinion, just show that you're coachable, show that you have a willingness to learn, not only from your coach, but from your teammates. Because if you get known as a young player who you like to take on advice, the older players can see that, okay, cool, this guy he's a willing learner. He's a guy where it's like he's not arrogant, he's not cocky, but he has the humility to see his flaws, see his weaknesses, and wants to know how to improve them. Because obviously, if your teammates think that about, if your older teammates think that about you, the coaches are gonna think that about you as well. So the coaches are gonna see that and they're gonna be like, alright, cool, we can keep this guy around here, we can develop him. He clearly wants to be a great player. So let's keep him. And then obviously he's got the potential, and then eventually that young player will turn into one of the leaders on the team, one of the best players, one of the most key important players. And then yeah, that's basically how it goes. So always make sure that you show your coach that you're coachable, that you're willing to be taught, willing to be developed, and you're a willing learner. So that's all I've got to say for this vid. Hope you enjoyed. I'm JT, and I'm out.